Welcome back to Leading Our Own Way, everyone. I'm your host, Andrew White, and today I want to introduce you to someone who stopped me in my tracks when I heard his story. Justin Elliott grew up in chaos, a troubled youth, battles with authority, really struggled with authority, to be honest, addiction, time behind bars, and choices that cost him dearly, including in his marriage and with the people he loved the most. But here is the thing about Justin. He doesn't hide from any of it. He owns it, in fact, every bit of it. Because on the other side of all of that darkness, Justin found something most people spend a lifetime searching for: purpose. And now he dedicates his life to helping those who have nowhere left to turn. This is part one of a two-part episode this week with Justin, and it is well worth your time. Please give us a follow on this channel. It really, really helps us. Anyway, here's the intro. Here's Justin and myself. Welcome to Leading Our Own Way. I'm your host, Andrew White, and this is the podcast that unveils captivating narratives of resilience and personal triumph. This podcast is for anyone seeking inspiration and insights on overcoming life's challenges. Follow and subscribe, and then we can lead together forever. Welcome, Justin Elliott. Welcome to Leading Our Own Way. How are you doing tonight, brother?
I'm good, Andrew. Thanks for having me on, mate. How are you?
Mate, I'm good. I've taken a few weeks off recordings, and you're my first fresh one after a big batch and getting ahead and getting a bit drained. But you know what? We're all human, and we have to sometimes take a break, don't we?
We sure do, mate. It's good to hear.
Yeah. You and I've previously met. I always like to share that I've previously met some guests, if I have, because it's not very often I get the opportunity to. Me and you have had a few dinner dates with a group of boys that we've shared. We've shared the podcast journey with our good friends Dennis and Cap Carter and Troy and all those boys down. We met in Melbourne for some nice food, didn't we, one night?
We sure did, mate. And then where were we? We were in, was it Ballarat? Or we were in Bendigo?
No, I didn't go to any of those.
There was like a mental health one that I think Troy was running.
Geelong,
there you go.
Yeah.
I always get those incorrect.
Yeah, down here in Geelong is where I met, and I did a bit of a speaking event there for Troy as well, and had my little podcast stall where I wasn't selling anything and just hoped people would come and say hi when I was there.
That's right. No, it's a good group of people, man. They're really doing some amazing stuff, and it's good to catch up with all those sorts of like-minded people.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. How did you get involved with meeting those boys?
So I think, you know TJ?
Yeah.
TJ, so we ended up doing like a walkthrough where I grew up in Preston. He covered the area a little bit, and we sort of, we're bouncing emails and messages to and from each other before we met, done that. I think that was one of his first videos, and we've just connected ever since. And then I met, obviously, Dennis, Troy, Jacob Little.
Jacob, yeah.
All those boys too, not long after that. So it's been awesome, man. It's a good community. It's
a great community, and they're doing a lot of great events. They've actually got their own podcast as well, so everyone should go and tune into that podcast regarding their journeys as well.
The Knockaround guys. Yeah.
The Knockaround guys. Yeah, that's it. It's amazing. Yeah. They're doing really well, and that's good to see that it's good to share the platforms, isn't it? It really is.
Yeah, well, especially with like guys that have lived experience and that they can actually lift some young guys up and give them some hope. So I love it, man. It's awesome stuff.
Yeah. I met somebody on a plane to Tasmania this week, and because I went to do a bit of a brain talk over there for a company, and I met somebody on the plane and said, I've got a QBE. And I was like, oh, what's a QBE? That sounds really official, like a doctorate. And he said it's qualified by experience from the University of Life.
Oh, wow, I like that. That's awesome. I'm going to use that one.
I said the same thing. Yeah, I said the same thing. Well, Justin, you filled in a little bit of a gap of, maybe we can put that jigsaw together of how I met the boys and all come together. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you would consider that you're leading your own way today.
Well, from where I was when I was younger to where I am now, a lot's changed, man. Like, I used to be a troublemaker. I used to get myself in a lot of trouble, had a lot of trauma, in and out of prison. But then until I found my faith in God, and that literally changed my life completely around, and, doing some positive stuff, being positive on myself and everyone else around me. So it's been a journey, man. It's been a big journey.
And I have to thank you for being vulnerable, and you know, we're gonna get stuck into it tonight, aren't we? We really are.
Let's go. Yeah,
Let's do it.
yeah. I'm an open book, so yeah.
Well, that's good to hear, and I hope I can continue to create that safe space for you to do that as well. With you just mentioned about God coming into your life and that saving you. What was that first point that you realized that was the way to go? What was that sign that came to you and hit you?
Well, before I did actually find God. I was. It sort of started. I saw the number 3 a lot everywhere that I went, to the point where I ended up getting custom number plates with my initials and the number 333. Because I'd look at the time, it'd be 3:33 p.m. I'd be sitting at the traffic lights. I'd look over at the house. It'd be 33. You know, on a one day, I'd see like a handful of number plates with the 333, and it just stuck out to me. Like, it was really noticeable. I don't know. I didn't know what it was at the start. I knew it was a sign of some sort. But until I was in prison in 2019, you get the chaplains that walk around the prison unit and have a chat with the prisoners. And I went up to the chaplain and said, "Does the number 3 mean anything to you?" He goes, "Yes, the Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit." So I'm like, okay. You know, I was pretty intrigued. I can't remember the exact conversation after that, but I was attending church in prison, you know, realised that Jesus died at 33. There's a lot of 3s in the Bible. And, you know, I attended church in prison, left prison, continued to go to church, got baptised, and, you know, so it was a big process. There's a lot of, like, forgiveness and everything like that I had to go through in the start of my faith. But, yeah, that was the sign, man, and here we are today.
It's amazing. When you say forgiveness, do you mean forgiveness towards yourself and the things that you'd been through?
Forgiveness, a lot of the stuff that happened to me as a child.
Yeah,
a lot of the reason why I was heading in the wrong direction and not realizing where that stemmed from, why I was heading in that direction, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, before we get into your childhood, because that is a particular point we do get stuck into in most, if not all, my guests, just tell us a little bit about the other ways that you're leading your own way today. Like, you know, for example, what you do, because you're doing some incredible things apart from, you know, being a full-time worker and a breadwinner in your home and things like that, which I still obviously want you to explain too. But you're doing some other things in a particular area. But I'll let you take the lead on that.
Yeah, well, I basically started building a community with the homeless, with people on YouTube, started my own YouTube channel, just supporting the homeless. So, you know, my wife and I have been a part of a not-for-profit charity that feed the homeless, clothe the homeless, and, you know, guide them and have conversations. So we've been doing that for about 3.5 years. Yeah, wow. And, you know, it's uplifting to help people in need, and, you know, people that feel forgotten and not seen, and then, you know, to have that conversation that they probably haven't had all day, you know, lights up their day. So that's a real joy for us. And about a year ago, we thought, because people come into our building to get fed, and we thought, you know, let's go out onto the street, because not everybody wants to come into a building. Not everybody's really capable, you know, depending on their mental health. They can forget where they need to be if they need a feed. So we decided to go out and supply some meals, supply some, you know, warm clothes, and then started getting donations on my YouTube channel. And then I dedicated my YouTube channel to help the homeless only. So I don't make $1 on my YouTube channel. Every donation we receive, we put together backpacks full of essentials that a homeless person may need on the streets. So we're exploring that as much as we can. It's slow growing, but we're trying to make a good impact and put more eyes on the issue, because, you know, not everyone really sees what happens on the streets of Melbourne.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're on the note of your YouTube. Everyone, please go and follow. The YouTube is youtube.com at the short Straw Melbourne. So short and straw is spelled exactly how you think it is. I'm guessing I'm correct, aren't I?
Yeah.
So yeah, please go and follow youtube.com at the short Straw Melbourne. It'll be all in the show notes for you to click on as well, but please go and check it out. Please give us a subscribe, because everything counts, doesn't it? It really does.
Yeah.
Why click onto the homeless section? What passion did you have towards that to go and create that?
It's been a bit of a I think it's a lot of parts of my life play a role in why we're doing what we're doing. You know, I grew up with not much, you know, mum didn't have much money. We were somewhat poor in a way. You know, we'd done it pretty tough. You know, going down the crime road, being in and out of prison, seeing people's mental health, struggling with my own mental health over the years and coming out the other end of that. Um, just having an understanding for the people on the streets that, you know, without judgment, try and make sense of their situation, or in a way not make sense of their situation. You know, no one can understand what they've actually been through. Everyone's journey is different. So,
Absolutely.
you know, I've got that heart for the people that are doing it tough and, you know, may not know what their issue is. And yeah, that's pretty much why we do what we do.
So what are the, because we can only speak for Melbourne, and, you know, I've done a lot of cities in the world, and you see homeless everywhere you go, and it's so sad, especially the big cities. In Melbourne then, I've heard and seen it, it's gotten worse. I've been here 14 and a half years, and I've seen it get worse over that time. What is the numbers, not worse, I shouldn't say worse, that's probably the wrong angle, the numbers have increased. Where do you know the stats on that? Can you paint a picture for us of what the numbers are looking like at the moment?
I don't know the exact stats. I don't really look into that. I probably should to get my head wrapped around that. But it's visually growing, the issue of homelessness and mental health, and obviously, you know, drug addictions don't help with unstable mental health and only amplifies the issue. And just there's so many parts to the puzzle that why somebody is homeless. Yeah,
Absolutely. I know it's that's really what I'm passionate about, is to prevent, or at least try and prevent, the mental health decline. You know, go to that root of where, you know, even if you have to go back to years, and, or, you know, even preventing a child's life now, or, you know, if adults, you know, my age group on the podcast is probably between 30 and 45, but if I can reach that younger order age group as well, maybe we can prevent, or at least give tips to people of, you know, like, for example, all my guests, I want the people to take pieces of gems from yourself and other guests, and each guest from week to week might contradict each other, right? But that might work for you, and it might work for the next person. So it's not contradicting, but the advice might conflict, but that piece of advice might work for somebody, and the next piece of advice might work for somebody else. And that's what I love about this podcast, because we've got so many different types of journeys. We all look and perceive the world in a completely different way, even though we can see the same thing in front of us. We all feel about it differently. And I just want people to be able to take pieces and put it into their life and go, that might work for me, I'm going to give it a shot. And if it doesn't, at least they tried, and they might be stronger from that within itself to try something different, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's good, Andrew, because I think the youth and the younger generation really need that, because I notice with people on the streets, if they let their mental health go for such a long period of time, it is so hard for them to get out of it and actually get to the bottom of why they are in the situation that they are. It's almost, in my eyes, some in some ways, impossible for them to escape that.
Yeah. It's the brain, man. It's the machine that is literally on all the time. And when you start to think one way, the brain always goes to for the familiar, or the safe route. In that safe route doesn't necessarily mean it's healthy for you. It goes to what it knows. And if you're constantly thinking like that, you're always going to revert back that. So it's about shifting that mindset, isn't it? And sometimes having purpose in terms of contribution, like what you said before, when you've created the platform and go and helping the homeless every week, or whenever you may do it, if you think about it, it is a selfless act, but it's also selfish, because it makes us feel amazing, right? And if that works, it works. So sometimes I feel like I want to get these other people who are in a position to go and help somebody else themselves.
Yeah.
And they'll get some joy out of that, you know?
Exactly, man. Because I get a lot of people that reach out to me and they actually get inspired by what we do on the YouTube channel, and they want to start their own stuff in their own regional towns. And just to hear that, it's so awesome, man. And I could only imagine who else has been inspired by it. And, you know, we go out in groups of people that, you know, love what we do and want to be a part of it. So it's really good, man.
That's awesome. For those who struggle to come into the building, because sometimes there's a bit of get anxious coming in, or it's embarrassment or shame or disgust sometimes. I interviewed somebody in England it's called the Andes Man Club, and he calls them the sweepers. He has some of the volunteers sweeping the local area for those who are sitting in the cars and not willing to come in yet. They're too nervous, and they just knock on the door. I mean, I'm not saying the homeless will necessarily have the car, but you can manipulate it to fit your role. But they knock on the door and they say, "Are you wanting to come into the Andes Man Club?" And they're a bit, "Come on, get out, come for a cup of tea," you know. And I just love that sweepers idea. And you getting out there and walking the streets is another way of maybe encouraging them. I know you'll give them the packages, but encourage them to come in as well, you know.
Yeah, that's right, man.
How often do you do your setup then?
As in hit the streets?
Yeah.
I was aiming for once a month, but you know, work obviously gets ahead of us sometimes. But and it depends on when the donations come in, and I just time it when everything just comes into place, really.
Yeah. What else do you do yourself then, Justin? What do you do on a daily basis yourself?
So I'm a qualified plasterer. So we're flat out, man. Busy, you know, 5-6 days a week, 10-hour days.
Yeah.
So
isn't it?
Puts the food on the table and the roof over the head, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, I feel
I do somewhat enjoy my job, so that's a bonus.
That's part of, you know, happiness, long-term happiness in your life, isn't it? And contentment is to get up every morning and enjoy what you do, because if you don't, over a long period of time, it just adds up to being chronic stress, doesn't it?
Exactly, man. Yeah. That's half the reason my wife ended up, you know, not working. She's not working at the moment, so, you know, like finance manager, a lot of pressure, stress, and you could really see it taking a hold of her.
Yeah.
And
has all that stress just come out of her now then?
Yeah, exactly.
That's good. Yeah, I can relate to that because I left my career for that. But all the stress came out, and 6 weeks later, rushed into hospital with septic shock. And I think it was the body trying to, you know, keep the score and tell me, "Hey, man, this is what's going on right now for you."
Exactly, man. Stress can do some dangerous stuff to the body, man.
Oh, to those organs, big time. Yeah.
Yeah.
On a mental health scale, then, 0 being rock bottom and 10 being content, let's say, where would you say you sit on that line?
I'd say I would be a 9.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Always room for improvement.
Exactly.
And where are you going to take us on this episode today? Where would you say you would have fallen to on that line?
What do you mean by that?
So, you know, where we're going to discuss some of the darkest moments in this journey, and when we're going to get stuck into it. If you could take yourself back and ask that question I just asked, where would you say you sat on it?
I'd be like a 2 or a 3, or
okay,
up and down from a 1 to a 3, basically.
Yeah. So let's go to your childhood then. You said that some of the things you've been through have really connected to your childhood. What was childhood like for you then, Justin? Just taking a very quick break to thank our sponsor, SU Skincare. If you haven't heard of them, SU Skincare started right here in Australia, using Australian ingredients to make skincare straightforward and accessible, especially for men who want results without the fuss. Their journey took them all the way to the US, where they were featured in Macy's and over 300 stores. Now they're back with a fresh approach, focusing on healthy skin and authenticity for everyone. I'm proud to have SU Skincare as a sponsor on Leading Our Own Way. See the show notes for their website and to see how you can keep your skin healthy and confident. And if you're interested in sponsoring like SU Skincare, drop us a message. We'd love to hear from you. Now, right back to the episode.
Childhood was rough, man. It was really rough. A lot of emotional, physical abuse, and a lot of instability. It wasn't enjoyable. Let's say that. Yeah. You know, I grew up with 4 half brothers. You know, mum and dad split up when I was 1 year old. You know, I have no memory of that.
Yeah.
And mum and dad went their own way. Partner each, 2 kids each. So all brothers, all boys, and you know that can be chaos in itself. But lived with mum. Grew up with two of my half brothers on mum's side. Visited dad on a fortnightly basis. You know, go to see my other brothers, and so I'm the oldest, obviously, and I sort of I had to grow up fast when I was younger. You know, doing a lot of stuff for the boys, I'd be making lunches, washing dishes, ironing clothes, doing all that. Mum wasn't very financially well off. Couldn't afford school uniform or books, shoes sometimes, to the point where I was having to, take people's jumpers, or, if I saw a jumper lying about, I'd grab that, or, had holes in my shoes, and, just to get grades in school, take people's books. So that started at a young age, stealing.
Yeah.
But yeah, we weren't poor. We had a house, we had a roof over our head, we had food on the table. She did what she could. So yeah, it was, I felt like I had to grow up pretty quick.
How young were you when you were doing all those jobs around the house then?
Oh, it was like primary school.
Oh, really?
Primary school to all the way through to high school. Yeah.
I mean, through self-reflection, we can look back now, can't we, and say you can say childhood was rough. But if you can go back to that, your mind of being that child, were you happy there and then, or do you remember living in fear? Do you remember feeling shit every day, or scared or whatever?
Yeah, I do remember. In most days, I would be scared. I didn't have. There was a bit of neglect in the family. Mum wasn't very loving, so I sort of missed out on that. And Mum was pretty wild back in the day. She'd be pretty physical at times, and if you'd done something wrong, you'd be copping it basically. And so we're always on eggshells at home, and it was going to school and getting out of the house was like a relief in a way.
Yeah, I was going to ask that actually. Did you ever come home? I can just imagine people coming home late from school to avoid being in the house.
Yeah, well, we'd have to be home at a certain time. If we weren't there, we'd be questioned, and we'd be allowed to go out with our friends in the afternoon, which was we wouldn't come home until street lights were on.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Why do you think your mum was like that?
Mum had her own traumas. Mum had her own traumas, her own demons to work with, which she obviously struggled with, and she took that out on us, unfortunately.
How? Not that you have to discuss her traumas here today, but how did you know about those traumas?
As I grew older, into an adult, she shared a few things with me, so. Kind of made sense of why she was the way she was. Yeah.
So in a way, she was justifying why she treated you the way she treated you.
No, not in that sense. Not for that reason. She just should be venting, or she wasn't defending herself in that way, which I don't think she ever has. I have had conversations with her about my childhood, and I think she's in a little bit of denial in some aspects, but. Of putting it out there, and she knows how I feel, and yeah.
So even to this day, she doesn't have that perspective still.
She understands that she did some wrong things, but won't admit to a lot of the real nasty stuff that she did, and it's a shame, but it's out there. It's off my chest. She's aware of it.
It's because she would if she could acknowledge it and apologize. I mean. What would you get? Do you think if she did acknowledge it and apologize, would that help you? Do you think?
To be honest, I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to be in the moment and hear it and feel it and run with my emotions. But it would be. I'd assume it would be a relief. But at the same time, I don't think she has completely healed within her own traumas, so I think that's playing a part in why she can't accept responsibility in a way.
Maybe that could help complete that hole a little bit. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
What's a question you wished your mum or anybody else would ask, but she or they never do?
As in ask myself?
Yeah. What's a question you think you would love your mum to ask you, but she never has never has so far?
That's a good question.
It's a deep one, isn't it? It's a tough one.
It is, yeah.
maybe have a think as we go on and come back to it later.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
Because that it is a deep question. I ask that question quite a lot in a different perspective to the guests, and it always puts them on a spot, but it really gets them to think about how they go forward a little bit. So we'll come back to it. Have a think now.
Cool.
So your father, where was your father in all of this?
So Dad was obviously he had his own relationship, two kids. There was a stage, I don't remember exactly at what age I was, but there was a couple of years I didn't see him for a while. I think he had a drinking problem, ended up going to rehab. I think Mum did the whole trying to turn me against my dad in a way when I was young, because obviously, they had their negative reasons for splitting up and whatnot. So I did see Dad pretty consistently every fortnight, going to visit, and he was working, he was doing everything he could, and had a really good relationship with my dad. So Dad never laid a hand on us. If he raised his voice, we'd be quick to listen. So no, it was a good dad. It was good.
And where is he in your life now?
He's no longer with us. He passed away. From self-neglect in a way. Drank himself silly, and he paid the price. And
I'm sorry to hear that, by the way. I didn't actually know that. But and is your mum still around though?
Yeah, Mum's still around. Yeah.
And do you still see her? Or?
Yeah, we've got a good relationship. Oh. Yeah. So we talk and just catch up, and we went out for a group dinner for my brother's birthday, which is good. So no, I love Mum. Mum's awesome. She's grown out of her old ways in a way, but I love my parents no matter what. It's the way everybody should be. You go through your trials, and it is what it is.
Yeah, I remember you in the pre-chat when we met last time, which is quite a while ago now. But I remember you telling me that you lost your memory over, things being quite hard on you.
Yeah. A lot of my childhood, I don't have that huge amount of memory, which I still try and make sense of it these days. I think it was like, because of how rough it was, possibly played a part in it.
Traumatic, yeah.
Yeah, I've never really had an answer to that.
Yeah. Because, during the school then, going back to your school life, did any of the behaviours, when you get neglect? I mean, I've worked as a teacher for the last 18 years, and children act up, don't they? And usually it's an expression of a problem. They're not necessarily naughty kids. I mean, we've had naughty people and naughty children at schools for hundreds of years, of course, but usually it's an expression of a problem. And kids act up to have an identity or a purpose, or for distraction at home, to avoid the things they're going through. Did that ever come out in ways for you at school?
I think it did. Like when I was young, I think after puberty, that's when I started going downhill in a way. So before puberty, I was getting good grades. I was, a good student, everything like that. I think as soon as puberty started coming along, I was like, just going to the skate park. I was wagging school. I was, doing naughty stuff with some of the boys in the school, and I think that just kept on creeping up, and one thing led to another, and it just gradually got worse.
And as teachers, if I ever noticed anything like that, I'd obviously get involved, report where I need to report to leadership, and have discussions whether we should get certain third parties involved or people from the Department of Education involved. Did the teachers ever play a part in your role, in your life, to support you?
No, not that I can remember. I don't think it was, it's a bit more advanced these days with people going down that route, but I think years ago it wasn't that much around or that noticed.
Yeah. So you just mentioned about being a teenager. How did that come out? Was it anger? Was it fear? Was it anxiety? Was it, were you? A lot of kids get angry, don't they, when life isn't going in their direction. I see a lot of angry teenagers, especially some of the schools I go to still. Were you an angry kid growing up?
I think gradually I was becoming more and more angry. Yeah, definitely.
And how did that come out for you? Because I remember I remember you saying you got to some naughty things. What type of things would you do growing up to express and get out there in the world?
I'd be out there with some at a young age, teenager. You'd go around somewhere, throw rocks at windows, steal caps like the tire caps off cars, and just do little petty things like that. And it just gradually kept growing and growing.
Yeah,
I was pretty angry in a way. I was making a name for myself. I wouldn't put up with any crap from anybody or any bullies. I hated bullies.
Yeah, me too.
That was one thing when I was in school. If I seen a kid getting bullied, I'd be all over it, going to stop it, or I'd end up bullying the bully in a way. So I did not like that. Yeah,
two wrongs don't make a right, Justin.
I know you're telling me now. Thanks. Where were you 20, 30 years ago?
I know what you mean. Though you, it's like a bit of a taste of their own medicine. Sometimes at school, I have to be the professional one. You can't do that just because it does. Just because they're doing it doesn't mean you can do it. But sometimes you're in the staff room, you go, "Oh, that he deserved that."
and I sort of connect. I think because I despised bullies so much. I went to school with my younger brothers, and if they got picked on, they'd be coming running up to me. Oh, he's picking on me, and then I'd go and sort it out. But I think that links in with my childhood and upbringing as well. Is that I saw my brothers getting beat up sometimes, and that I hated seeing it. And I think that definitely reflects on why I hated bullies and dealt with bullies the way I did in school. Definitely.
But when you're making the lunchboxes at home and doing what you're doing as a big brother / kind of parent, if you will, when they're out in there in the world, you want to carry on that role, don't you?
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah, without even realising it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So in school then, you're leaving school. Where does life take you then?
I think in high school, I sort of stuffed up during high school. So around year 10, year 11, that's when I started mixing with the wrong crowd. I started stealing cars, going for joyrides, skipping school. It led to robbing places because obviously I had wheels, and then just gradually increased the severity of it. But I think I ended up getting kicked out. I basically got kicked out of one of the high schools that I was attending because I ended up stealing a car, driving it like an idiot, smashed it into a parked car of a student that went to the school. And then I ended up running from that situation, and then I think they had a police helicopter circling around the school looking for me. The police ended up going to the school, and then I ended up getting expelled for that. So
wow.
that was the end of that high school.
So did you then attend another high school?
Yeah, I ended up attending another high school, ended up doing half of year 11, or nearly completed. I think I completed year 11 actually, but that's when I was just too far gone. I was visiting the prison system and going to juvie, and it didn't get any better.
So you obviously didn't like the rules in place. You didn't have any feelings towards those rules in place, I guess.
Oh no, not at all.
And do you think that started from the petty little crimes that you said you were doing earlier?
Yeah, I don't know. I think there was always a bit of not having any fear or care.
Yeah.
Or, care for authority, care of rules. Yeah, and it was a combination of that and anger.
Because going back to your primary school years when you were doing all those jobs in the home and you're strict at home by certain hours, if you're not, you question, is that a result of everything being so strict prior to that, do you think? Where you've been so rule setting, I'm now confident, older, bigger frame, bigger body, more confident, more mature, let's say. Not that it's maturity, but you know what I mean? Like, is it because everything was so strict earlier, now it's your time to kind of lash out, you reckon?
Possibly, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
It does it? Yeah, I always think about that. Even as a parent myself, now I try and not to overbear in so many strict rules, because I know when he's a teenager, he's going to go, I'm going to do this because you've been so strict on me. So sometimes I'll let him watch TV late because I don't want him to...
It's a fine line, isn't it?
Yeah. I think about those little things all the time, because he's not allowed devices. We don't give my son devices. So I'm like, God, he's going to hate me one day. He's going to have the police knocking on. It's your fault because you didn't let me devices.
That's good. That's good job.
So when was the first prison visit for you then? Well, that's just the beginning of Justin's story, and I promise you, it gets even more powerful from here. In part 2, Justin opens up about the deeper battles, the moments that truly changed him, and the legacy he is now working to build. You're not going to want to miss it. If this episode has resonated with you or already meets and touches the heart, please share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Leave us a review and hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. It really helps the show as well. We'll see you in part 2, Tuesday Truths tomorrow. See you then.